Right, let's move on to the economy now and the issue that I raised with Bill Shorten and where the surplus now stands. Malcolm Farr, the debate, the ongoing issue now, is it going to be whether there is a need for a change of policy or whether the government is on the point of breaking a promise?
Well, again, it's locked in because it's lost control of the politics of this situation. There's a very, very strong and legitimate argument that should things get really crook globally, that we should look again at delaying a surplus. But the government is prevented from doing that.
Will Joe Hockey say that to the government? Now, listen, we understand that maybe there's a need for a change of policy. We'll let you off the hook.
I'm sure he's bursting to be bipartisan on this issue, but I don't think he will. But now we're sort of reading nuances, promises become objectives and they become expectations. I mean, I think the government fully intends to go ahead with achieving a surplus by 2030, but it's crossing its fingers mightily.
I think they'll do whatever is necessary to achieve a surplus, rather than...
Yeah. I thought the Bill Shorten interview was fairly disingenuous. The whole notion that this is a miner-friendly government and so on and so forth. They just tried to, clobber them with that minerals rent resource tax beforehand. Miners must be laughing at this thing.
Yeah, well, what about the point he made, though, on the mining tax? What the opposition is saying, in effect, is that we'll take the tax off the miners, but sack 12,000 people.
Yeah, but the point is that the public service doesn't really create real jobs. You know that, and I know that, Barry.
What?
They're not real people?
No.
Tea Party Piers is back. Come on.
You finished?
Yeah.
Because
I'm handing it over to you.
Because those people don't create wealth. And that's what this nation needs to pay that.
So what is the alternative to teachers and nurses? What's the alternative?
What's the alternative to teachers and nurses? There are a lot of people in Canberra who aren't teachers or nurses, and we just saw that report on the Northern Territory and the amount of money that was pissed away up there on welfare programs that didn't achieve a thing. Now, Barry, if you want to sit here and defend those sort of programs, and you want to defend those sort of programs and say that there's no fat in the federal budget, go ahead.
Piers, I think we should all go out and create wealth, don't you? Do you create wealth in your job? I'm not sure that I create wealth in my job.
Well, I
reckon a person who sets up schools, I reckon a department that sets up hospitals, I reckon a department that supervises the buildings and roads.
You weren't listening, were you, David?
I reckon they create wealth.
No, hold on. I just said...
That's how you create wealth.
David, what I just said, 2.5 minutes ago, was that, sure, there are teachers and there are nurses, but
they're okay, are they?
There are a lot
even though they don't create wealth.
David, they provide a decent service. But there are a lot of programs in Canberra that do nothing.
Like the Department of Climate Change, for example.
Like the Department of Climate Change.
That's the one that they say is in their sights.
Somebody mentioned that. I mean, you tell me how one public service is going to change the temperature of the world.
Tony Abbott had a bit of fun with the surplus issue yesterday in his speech, the one that he mentioned, the speech that he wanted a bit of focus on, so we'll put a bit of focus on it. On the surplus issue, he reminded the audience of the Howard government's record.
Yes, that was John Howard's surplus and John Howard's asset base. And it was Peter Costello's surplus and Peter Costello's asset base. But it was also Julie Bishop's surplus because she was part of that government. It was George Brandis's surplus because he was part of that government. And yes, it was Tony Abbott's surplus because I was part of that government.
Finally we got there. It was Tony Abbott's surplus.
Tony Abbott's. Imagine George Brandis being in the surplus. It's fantastic.